The soft blue glow of monitor screens lit up Commander Kate Turner's face as she sipped her coffee. Another quiet night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station. The large room hummed with the sound of computers and occasional whispers. From the night crew, Kate had been working here for 7 years, listening to the stars. Most nights were the same, documenting normal space noise, tracking known signals, and making sure nothing unusual happened. Tonight was different. Kate nearly spilled her coffee when a sharp beeping sound cut through the quiet room. She put down her cup and rolled her chair closer to the main console. "What is it, Baker?" she asked the young officer, who was already typing quickly. "Unknown signal, Commander. Strong and clear, not matching any known pattern in our database," Officer Paul Baker said, his eyes not leaving his screen. Kate pressed a button on her console. Route it to the main speakers. "Let's hear what we've got." The room filled with a strange sound, a series of tones and clicks that rose and fell in an odd pattern. It wasn't random noise. This was a message. "Run it through the translator AI," Kate ordered. The station's artificial intelligence had been designed to decode any potential alien communication. So far, it had only been tested on simulations. This was the first real alien signal strong enough to analyze. After 30 seconds, the AI spoke in its neutral voice. Translation complete. Message classification. Distress call. The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at Kate. "Play the translated message," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "This is Colony Ship Starlight of the Nevari Confederation. We are under attack by Vex Collective forces at our settlement in the Proxima Centauri system. We are a peaceful research colony with minimal defenses. Many civilians present. Request immediate assistance from any Galactic Council members. Repeat, this is an emergency distress call." The message continued with technical details about the attack and coordinates. Kate was already reaching for the secure line to Earth Defense Command. "Get me Admiral Mason, now." 20 minutes later, Admiral. John Mason's serious face filled the main screen in the station's conference room. His gray hair was messy, and he was wearing a simple T-shirt. Kate had clearly woken him up, but his eyes were alert. "You're certain about this translation, Commander Turner?" he asked. "Yes, sir. The AI is confident at 98.7%. This is a genuine distress call from the Proxima Centauri system. From what we can tell, a species called the Nevari is under attack by another group called the Vex Collective." Mason nodded slowly. "Proxima Centauri. That's our closest neighboring star." "Yes, sir. Just over 4 light years away." Mason rubbed his chin. "The Galactic Council only accepted Earth as a member 3 months ago, and even then, most of them see us as dangerous Deathworlders because of Earth's gravity and our biology." "Have you forwarded this message to the Council?" "Yes, sir. They acknowledged receipt, but their protocols state they will review and form a response team within 5 to 7 days. Mason's face hardened. 5 to 7 days? While a colony is under attack? The Council doesn't maintain standing military forces, sir. Their response teams are contributed by member worlds on a rotating basis. The current Rapid Response Force is on the other side of the sector." Mason was quiet for a moment. Kate could almost see him thinking. Earth had only revealed a small portion of its military capabilities to the Galactic Council. Most alien species evolved in safer environments than humans and didn't understand how constant threat had shaped Earth's development. "How long would it take our ships to reach Proxima Centauri?" Mason finally asked. Kate checked her tablet. "The 7th Rapid Response Division is currently in orbit around Mars. With their new FTL drives running at full capacity, they could be there in about 48 hours. "And the Council ships? Best estimate is 20 days, sir." Mason stood up straighter, Those people will be dead in 20 days. He turned away from the camera for a moment, speaking to someone off-screen. When he turned back, his decision was made. Commander Turner, send a message to the Galactic Council, informing them that Earth is responding to this distress call under Article 7 of the Mutual Defense Agreement. Tell them we will provide them with regular updates. Kate nodded. And the 7th Division, sir? I'm activating them now. Full deployment authorization. Tell your team to send all data on the distress call to Captain Eric Daniels on the UES Defiance. He'll lead the response. Yes, sir. As Mason's face disappeared from the screen, Officer Baker looked at Kate with wide eyes. The Council won't like this. They barely trust us as it is. Kate smiled slightly. The Council has never seen what humans can really do when others are in danger. Maybe it's time they learned. Across the solar system, on the U's Defiance in Mars orbit, Captain Eric Daniels was woken by the sharp beep of his emergency communicator. He grabbed it from beside his bed. Daniels, he answered, instantly awake. Captain, this is Fleet Command. The 7th Division is being activated for emergency response. Deployment orders are being transmitted to your ship now. Eric was already pulling on his uniform. What's the situation? Distress call from Proxima Centauri system. Alien colony under attack. You'll be leading the response team. Time frame? Launch in 2 hours. Admiral Mason wants you at Proxima Centauri within 48 hours. Eric paused. That would require running the FTL drives beyond recommended safety limits. The Admiral is aware. He says it's worth the risk. Understood. Daniels. Out. Eric pressed the ship-wide alert button on his wall panel. Throughout the massive warship, lights flashed and alert tones sounded. Within minutes, the crew of 320 men and women were rushing to their stations. Lieutenant Sam Wright, the ship's tactical officer, met Eric in the corridor. What's happening, Captain? We're going to rescue some aliens, Sam, Eric said as they hurried toward the bridge. Time to show the galaxy what humans can do. Chief Engineer Dr. Olivia Martinez was already at her station when Eric reached the bridge. Her fingers flew over her console as she prepared the experimental faster-than-light engines for what would be their first real emergency use. Can you get us there in 48 hours, Doctor? Eric asked. Olivia didn't look up from her work. I can push the engines to 120% of tested capacity. It's risky, but we'll get there. Eric nodded and took his place in the command chair. Around him, his crew worked with practiced efficiency. Communications. Send word to the other ships in the division. We launch in 90 minutes. As the 5 massive Earth warships prepared to jump to the rescue of a species they'd never met. In the council chambers light years away, representatives from dozens of alien worlds received Earth's message with disbelief. The humans are doing what? Asked a tall, slender representative. They say they're responding to the Nivari distress call, replied another. They claim they can be there in 2 Earth days. Impossible. No ship can cross that distance so quickly. Perhaps we have underestimated these Deathworlders. Far away from these political discussions, the Nivari colony burned under Vex bombardment. The few surviving colonists huddled in underground shelters, certain that help would come too late. If it came at all, they had no idea that Earth's warships were already on their way, crewed by a species that had evolved on a world where danger was constant and helping others in peril was considered not just right, but necessary. Help was coming, and it was coming fast. Red alert lights flashed across the loading bay of the UES Defiance as crews rushed to secure equipment. The massive warship hummed with activity. In the weapons section, teams checked missile systems and energy cannons. Medical staff prepared. Emergency supplies. Everyone moved with purpose. Captain Eric Daniels, watched from a walkway above, his face serious. The Defiance was the lead ship of Earth's 7th Rapid Response Division. 4 other warships were preparing alongside it, the UES: Valor, Sentinel, Guardian, and Intrepid. Together, they formed one of Earth's most powerful combat units. "Captain, you need to see this," Lieutenant Sam Wright called from a nearby console. Sam was young, but already one of the best tactical officers in the fleet. His dark eyes narrowed. As he studied the screen, Eric walked over. "What have you got?" "I've analyzed the Nivari distress signal. Based on their descriptions of the attacking ships, I've created models of what we might be facing." Sam pulled up images of sleek, angular vessels. The Vex seemed to favor energy weapons over physical projectiles. Their shields are strong at the front but weaker on the sides. Eric nodded. "Good work. Share this with all ships in the division. I want everyone ready." On the engineering deck, Dr. Olivia Martinez argued with her team as they prepared the experimental FTL drives. "I don't care what the manual says," she told her assistant. "We need to bypass the safety limiters. Admiral Mason wants us at Proxima Centauri in 48 hours. "But doctor, we've never pushed the drives that hard," her assistant protested. Olivia's face softened. "I designed these engines, Carl. I know what they can handle." She patted the metal wall of the engine room. "This old girl is tougher than the safety manuals think. We'll make it." Meanwhile on Earth, Ambassador William Carter hurried through the halls of the United Nations Space Command. Aides rushed beside him, handing him reports and updates. Carter was a tall man with graying hair who had spent his career building relationships with alien species. Today, those relationships were being tested. "What's the Council saying?" he asked his chief aide. "They're in emergency session now, sir. Many representatives are upset that Earth is responding without Council approval." Carter frowned. "We don't need their approval. The Mutual Defense Agreement gives any member the right to respond to distress calls." "Yes, sir, but most expected we would coordinate with them first." "There's no time for their committees and discussions," Carter said as they reached the communication chamber. "People are dying while they debate." The large screen in the chamber flickered to life, showing the Galactic Council chamber. 20 alien representatives sat in a semicircle. Their appearances varied widely. Some had scales, others fur, and a few were more like plants than animals. At the center sat High Counselor Vreen, a tall being with blue skin and forearms. "Ambassador." "Carter," Vreen spoke, his voice translated by the computer. "The Council demands an explanation for Earth's unauthorized military deployment." Carter straightened his tie. "High Counselor, with respect, our response is fully authorized under Article 7 of the Mutual Defense Agreement. The Nivari colony is under attack. They need immediate help." "The Council is aware of the situation," Vreen replied. "We are organizing a proper response, which would arrive in 20 days, Carter countered. "By then, it will be too late." A reptilian counselor leaned forward. "Your species has been part of this council for barely 3 months. You do not get to decide proper protocols." Carter kept his voice calm. "We are not trying to override protocols. We are simply responding to an emergency with the resources we have available." "With warships," another counselor exclaimed. "This confirms what many of us feared. Humans are too aggressive and unpredictable to be trusted." "We're sending warships because that's what's needed right now," Carter replied. "Would you prefer we send scientists to study the aftermath of a massacre?" The council chamber erupted in angry voices. High Counselor Vreen raised all 4 of his hands for silence. "Ambassador Carter, we understand Earth's desire to help, but your ships are not authorized to engage in combat in Council space without approval." Carter leaned closer to the camera. "With all due respect, High Counselor, our ships will do whatever is necessary to protect the Nivari colonists. We hope to have your support, but we will act with or without it." Before Vreen could respond, an aide rushed to Carter and whispered in his ear, "Counselors, I've just been informed that our fleet has entered FTL. They will reach the Proxima Centauri system in approximately 47 hours. We will keep the Council updated on their progress." The screen went dark as Carter ended the transmission. He turned to his aide. "That went about as well as expected. Sir, should we be concerned about diplomatic consequences?" Carter shook his head. "If our ships save those colonists, diplomacy will sort itself out. Right now, we need to focus on supporting the mission." Back in space, the 5 Earth warships formed a tight formation as they prepared for FTL jump. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Daniels settled into his command chair. "All ships reporting ready, Captain," his communications officer said. "Engine status?" Eric asked. Dr. Martinez's voice came over the comm. "Engines at 120% capacity, Captain. They're running hot but stable." Eric took a deep breath. "This will be the fastest recorded response to a distress call in Council space. Let's make it count." He pressed the ship-wide communication button. "All hands secure for FTL jump. We are responding to a distress call from the Nivari colony in the Proxima Centauri system. This is not a drill. We expect to face hostile forces upon arrival." He paused, looking around at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his next words. The people we're going to help have never met humans before. They've only heard stories about the dangerous Deathworlders from Earth. Today, we show them and the rest of the galaxy what that really means. Not that we're dangerous to them, but to anyone who threatens the innocent. Nods of approval spread across the bridge. Navigation. Plot jump course to Proxima Centauri. Tactical. Begin combat simulations based on Lieutenant Wright's analysis. Medical. Prepare for potential casualties. Eric leaned back in his chair. Execute jump in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars outside the viewports stretched into lines as the 5 massive warships tore through space at speeds the Galactic Council had deemed impossible. Inside, the crews trained, planned, and prepared for whatever they might find at their destination. On a dozen worlds across the galaxy, Council representatives watched in disbelief as their tracking systems showed the human fleet moving at unprecedented speed. Some felt fear at this display of technology the humans had kept hidden. Others felt hope that help might actually reach the Nivari in time, and in the darkness of space, racing faster than any Council ship could travel. Earth's warships carried a simple message to both the desperate Nivari and their attackers. Humanity had joined the galactic community, and things were about to change. The jump from FTL back to normal space was never smooth. Captain Eric Daniels gripped his command chair as the UEC Defiance shuddered around him. Warning lights flashed on several consoles, but none went fully red. The crew had done their jobs. "Well, status report," Eric called out, his voice steady despite the violent re-entry. "All systems operational, Captain," the systems officer replied. "Minor damage to outer hull plating on decks 3 and 7. Nothing serious. Other ships? All present and accounted for. The Guardian reports engine strain, but nothing critical." Eric nodded. "Dr. Martinez, how are our engines?" Olivia's tired voice came over the comm. "They ran hot, Captain. We'll need some repairs before we can push them like that again." But they held together. "Good work, Doctor." Eric turned to his navigation officer. "Confirm our position." "We are in the Proxima Centauri system, sir. Approximately 3 light minutes from the 4th planet, where the Nivari colony is located." Lieutenant Sam Wright spoke up from the tactical station. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple energy signatures. Combat in progress." Eric stood up. On screen, The main view screen shifted to show the space around the fourth planet. 8 sleek, angular ships surrounded a handful of smaller, rounder vessels. The angular ships, the Vex, fired bright beams of energy at the smaller ships, which were clearly struggling. Below them, the planet showed signs of bombardment. Fires were visible on its surface. "Scan the planet," Eric ordered. "I need to know what we're dealing with." "The colony appears to be primarily on the northern continent," reported the science officer. "Population centers are under attack. I'm detecting approximately 15,000 life signs, but readings are fluctuating." "They're dying down there," Sam said quietly. Eric's face hardened. "Not if we can help it." "Communications. Open a channel to all ships in the area, including the attackers." "Channel open, sir." Eric straightened his uniform. "This is Captain Eric Daniels of the United Earthship Defiance. We are responding to a distress call from the Nivari colony. All hostile forces are ordered to cease fire immediately and withdraw from this system." For a long moment, there was silence. Then a harsh, metallic voice responded. "Human vessel, this conflict does not concern you. The Nivari violated our territory. We claim this world as compensation." "That's a lie." A new voice broke in, softer with a musical quality. "This is Commander Alara of the Nivari Defense. We have never entered Vex space. They attack us for our resources." Eric glanced at his communications officer, who nodded confirmation that both transmissions were being translated correctly. "Vex vessels, I repeat, cease your attack. The Nivari are under the protection of Earth, and by extension, the Galactic Council." A harsh laugh came over the channel. "The Council? Their response ships are weeks away. By then, this will be settled." "We're not the Council response team," Eric replied calmly. "We're something else entirely. This is your final warning." The Vex commander's voice was dismissive. "One Earth ship cannot stop us." Eric smiled slightly. "Count again." On his signal, the view screen zoomed out to show all 5 Earth warships now in formation. Each was nearly twice the size of the largest Vex vessel, their black hulls absorbing the light from the nearby star. "Tactical analysis, Lieutenant Wright," Eric ordered. Sam studied his console. 8 Vex warships, as expected from the distress call. Energy weapons primarily, with some missile capability. 3 Nivari ships still fighting, 5 others disabled. The Nivari ships appeared to be converted science vessels, not purpose-built for combat. Life signs on the disabled ships? Present, but fading in some areas. They need medical assistance. Eric made his decision. All ships, Combat Formation Delta, Guardian and Intrepid, move to protect the Nivari vessels. Valor and Sentinel, prepare to engage the Vex ships. Defiance will take point. The Earth warships moved with surprising speed for their size, sliding into a protective formation around the battered Nivari ships. "Vex Commander," Eric transmitted. "I am now directly between you and your targets. Any further hostile action will be considered an attack on Earth forces and will be met with appropriate response." The Vex ships adjusted their formation, now focusing on the Earth vessels. "You have made your choice, human," the Vex commander said coldly. "Now face the consequences." All 8 Vex ships fired at once, their energy beams converging on the Defiance. The bridge crew braced for impact. The ship shuddered as the beams struck its shields. "Shield status?" Eric demanded. "Shields holding at 92%, Captain," reported the systems officer with surprise. "The Vex weapons are powerful, but our shields were designed for much worse." On the view screen, the Vex commander appeared. He had a gray, almost metallic face with multiple small eyes arranged in a circle. He looked confused. "Impossible. Your shields should have failed." Eric allowed himself a small smile. "There's a lot you don't know about humans," and the world we come from. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We call it Earth. You call it a death world. Our ships are built to withstand forces you can't imagine. He stood up, facing the alien on the screen. Now you have a choice. Withdraw your forces or discover what else Deathworlders can do. The Vex commander's multiple eyes blinked rapidly. We do not retreat. I was hoping you'd say that, Eric replied. Lieutenant Wright, you have weapons free. Target their engines. First, I want prisoners, not casualties. Sam's fingers moved across his console. Targeting solutions locked, Captain. All ships standing by. On the disabled Nivari vessels, the surviving crew watched in amazement as the massive Earth ships absorbed the Vex attack without apparent damage. Commander Ilara, her blue skin pale from blood loss, and her left arm badly injured, stared at the view screen showing the human fleet. They came, she whispered to her second in command. The Deathworlders actually came. Her officer looked concerned. Can they win against the Vex? There are only 5 of them. Ilara watched as the Earth ships began to move into attack position, their movements precise and coordinated like predators surrounding prey. I think, she said slowly, we are about to learn why they call humans Deathworlders. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Daniels gave the order that would change how the galaxy viewed humanity forever. All ships open fire. Space lit up with fire as the Earth ships launched their attack. Unlike the bright energy beams of the Vex, the human weapons were a mix of guided missiles, railgun projectiles, and focused pulse lasers. The effect was devastating. The U's Defiance fired first, its main weapons targeting the engines of the lead Vex ship. The Vex vessel tried to evade, but the human targeting systems were too precise. 3 hits struck in quick succession, disabling the Vex ship's engines and sending it spinning out of formation. First target disabled, Lieutenant Sam Wright reported, his eyes fixed on his tactical display. Moving to secondary targets. Captain Eric Daniels nodded. Guardian, Intrepid, continue protecting the Nivari ships. Valor, Sentinel, target the Vex vessels attempting to flank us. The Earth ships moved with surprising agility for their size. The Vex, clearly expecting slower, less maneuverable opponents, struggled to adjust their tactics. They're regrouping, Sam warned. 7 operational ships forming a new attack pattern. They're learning, Eric said. Good. Let's teach them something else. Dr. Martinez, are you ready? Olivia's voice came over the cone system. Ready, Captain. Just give the word. Execute Plan Thunderbolt. In the engineering section, Dr. Martinez pressed a series of commands into her console. The ship's energy core surged, redirecting power in a way no council ship could manage. On the outer hull of the Defiance, panels slid open to reveal dozens of small drones. Launching now, Olivia reported. A swarm of combat drones burst from the Defiance, each one smaller than a human, but armed and shielded. They raced toward the Vex formation, moving too quickly and unpredictably for the Vex targeting systems. Vex ships fired frantically at the drone swarm, but hit only a few. The rest reached their targets and attached to the hulls of the Vex vessels. Once in place, the drones began to drill through the outer armor. On his tactical display, Sam tracked the drones' progress. Drones have breached hulls on 3 Vex ships. Their shields are fluctuating. Eric stood up from his chair. Alan, you're up. Alan Peterson, the fleet's AI specialist, had been quiet until now. A young man with quick hands and quicker eyes, he smiled as he activated his special console. Accessing their systems now, Captain. Through the drones, Alan connected to the Vex ship's computer networks. His fingers flew across his keyboard as he bypassed security measures and planted disruptive code. I'm in, he reported after a tense minute. Their communication systems are compromised. Inserting false orders now. On the view screen, 3 of the Vex ships suddenly broke formation, their weapons powering down. The remaining 4 Vex vessels hesitated, clearly confused by their allies' unexpected movements. "Vex, Commander," Eric broadcast. "As you can see, we've taken control of 3 of your ships. Your formation is broken. Surrender now, and we can end this without further bloodshed." The Vex commander's face appeared on screen again, his circular arrangement of eyes now wide with what might have been fear. "What kind of beings are you?" he demanded. "No species has ever breached our systems so quickly." "We're humans," Eric replied simply. "Now, your answer?" Before the Vex commander could respond, new alarms sounded on the Defiance's bridge. "Captain," Sam called out. "New contacts entering the system. Multiple signatures approaching fast." Eric tensed. "Vex reinforcements?" "No, sir." Sam looked up, surprised. "There. Council ships." The view screen shifted to show 3 sleek vessels entering the system. They were clearly not built for combat, with smooth lines and minimal weapons. At their center was a larger ship bearing the insignia of the Galactic Council. "We're being hailed," reported the communications officer. "Put them through," Eric ordered. The face that appeared on screen belonged to a tall, thin alien with purple skin and large, compound eyes. He wore the formal robes of a council observer. "This is Observer Trell of the Galactic Council," the alien announced. "We have come in response to—" "What is happening here?" The observer's voice trailed off as he took in the scene. 5 massive Earth warships, 8 Vex vessels, 3 disabled, 1 drifting with engine damage, and 4 still in formation, and the battered Nivari ships. "Observer Trell," Eric greeted. "Formally, this is Captain Daniels of the UES Defiance. We responded to the Nivari distress call. The situation is under control." Trell blinked rapidly, clearly struggling to process what he was seeing. "Under control? You engaged in unauthorized combat." A council did not approve this intervention. From another screen, the Vex commander spoke up. "Observer, these humans attacked us without provocation." "That is false," came a new voice. Commander Ilara of the Nivari had managed to restore her. Ship's communications. Her face, though strained with pain, was visible on a third screen. "The Vex attacked our colony without warning. The humans saved us from destruction." Observer Trell's compound eyes shifted between the 3 commanders. "This is highly irregular. Captain Daniels, your fleet was ordered not to engage." Eric's face remained calm. "With respect, Observer, we were ordered to protect innocent lives." "That's exactly what we did." At that moment, Sam called out again. "Captain, detecting new launches from the planet's surface." The Vex had ground forces deployed. The tactical display showed dozens of small ships rising from the Nivari colony, attempting to escape. "Those are Vex troop carriers," Ilara explained. "They were looting our scientific facilities and mining operations." Eric turned to Sam. "Target those ships. Disable only." The Earth vessels adjusted their aim, firing precision shots that disabled the engines of the fleeing Vex ships without destroying them. Within minutes, all the transports were drifting helplessly in orbit. Observer Trell watched this display of military precision with growing astonishment. This is not how Council peacekeeping operations are conducted. "Perhaps they should be," Eric suggested quietly. "When innocent lives are at stake, sometimes decisive action is necessary." The Vex commander's multiple eyes narrowed. "We will not forget this, human. The collective will remember." "Good," Eric replied. "Remember that Earth protects its allies. Remember that when you hear a distress call was answered by humans, it means the victims will be saved and the aggressors will be stopped." He leaned forward slightly. "And remember that next time, we might not be so careful about taking prisoners. The Vex commander's transmission cut off abruptly. Observer Trell looked disturbed. Captain Daniels, the Council will need to review these events thoroughly. This level of military response is unprecedented. Of course, Eric nodded. But first, I suggest we provide medical assistance to the Nevari. My ships carry advanced medical teams ready to help. As Trell hesitated, Commander, Elara spoke up, her voice stronger now despite her injuries. The humans answered our call when no one else could reach us in time. They placed themselves between us and certain death. Whatever the Council's protocols, I know who I trust to help my people now. Her words hung in the silence that followed, as the stars continued to shine on the aftermath of humanity's first battle in defense of another species. 3 days after the battle, the Nevari colony was slowly recovering. Fires had been put out. Buildings were being repaired. The injured were receiving care in field hospitals set up by Earth medical teams. In orbit above the planet, the disabled, Vex ships were being held under guard by 2 Earth vessels, while Council authorities processed the prisoners' dot in the main colonial settlement. Captain Eric Daniels walked beside Commander Elara. Her arm was now in a healing cast provided by human medics. Around them, humans and Nevari worked together to clear debris and rebuild. Your people have done more in 3 days than we could have managed in 3 weeks, Elara said, her musical voice full of gratitude. The Council relief ships just arrived, and they're still setting up their equipment. Eric smiled. We're used to working quickly. On Earth, natural disasters can strike without warning. We've learned to respond fast. They stopped at the edge of the settlement, looking out over fields that had been scorched by Vex weapons. Already, Earth agricultural specialists were testing the soil and planning how to restore it. The Council has called an emergency session, Elara said after a moment of silence. They're debating what to do about Earth's unauthorized intervention. Eric nodded. Ambassador Carter told me. He's representing Earth's interests. Are you worried about the Council? Eric shrugged. They can debate all they want. We did. What was right? Elara touched his arm with her good hand. My people will never forget what yours did for us. The Nevari have voted unanimously to request a formal alliance with Earth. Before Eric could respond, his communicator beeped. Captain, incoming transmission from Earth. Admiral Mason requests your presence aboard the Defiance. On my way, Eric replied. He turned to Elara. Duty calls. Go, she said with a smile. We'll continue our work here. Aboard the Defiance, Eric entered the communications room to find Sam Reich and Olivia Martinez already waiting. The large screen activated to show Admiral Mason's serious face. Captain, Doctor, Lieutenant, Mason greeted them. I have news from the Council session. Good news or bad news, sir? Eric asked. Both. Mason's face was hard to read. Ambassador. Carter has been in session with them for the past 6 hours. It seems our actions have caused quite a stir. Olivia crossed her arms. We saved thousands of lives. What's there to debate? Politics, Doctor, Mason replied. The Council operates on consensus and careful planning. Our rapid response bypassed their established protocols. Some see it as a threat to their authority. Sam frowned. So they'd rather let people die than admit their system needs improvement. Not all of them, Mason corrected. Several species have expressed admiration for Earth's response. The Nevari, obviously, but also the Tellarites, the Voran Confederation, and surprisingly, the Mizar Republic. The Mizar? Eric was surprised. I thought they were among our strongest critics. They were, Mason confirmed, until they reviewed our battle footage. It seems they're impressed by our combat capabilities. They've officially requested closer military cooperation with Earth. The Admiral's expression softened slightly. The Council has made its decision. I'll let Ambassador Carter tell you himself." The screen split to show William Carter standing in what appeared to be the council chamber. Unlike his usual formal appearance, Carter looked tired but satisfied. "Captain Daniels, congratulations," Carter said. "Your actions have changed Earth's standing in the galactic community. For better or worse?" Eric asked cautiously. Carter smiled. "Definitely for better. The Council has officially acknowledged that their response protocols for distress calls are inadequate. They've created a new rapid response initiative, and they want Earth to lead it." Eric exchanged surprised looks with Sam and Olivia. "That's unexpected," he admitted. "It gets better," Carter continued. "They're calling it the Deathworld Response Force. They've taken what was once an insult and turned it into a mark of respect. What exactly does this mean for us?" Olivia asked. "It means Earthships will be designated as first responders to distress calls across this sector of the galaxy," Carter explained. "The 7th Division will be the model for a new joint species emergency force. You'll be training officers from other worlds in your methods." Admiral Mason spoke up. "Captain, you and your crew have shown the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. Not just our technology or our fighting skills, but our willingness to help others in need." Eric nodded slowly, taking it all in. "And the Vex? Will they face consequences?" "The Council has imposed severe sanctions on the Vex Collective," Carter answered. "More importantly, the intelligence you gathered from their ships revealed they've been attacking other peaceful colonies. Several other species have now come forward with similar stories." "So we exposed a pattern," Sam said. "Exactly," Carter confirmed. "The Council is forming a special investigation team. They want Lieutenant Wright and Dr. Peterson to join it, given their expertise in Vex systems." Sam looked surprised but pleased. "I'd be honored." The meeting continued for another hour as they discussed details of Earth's new role in the galactic community. When it was over, Eric remained alone in the communications room, thinking about everything that had happened. His thoughts were interrupted when Officer Paul Baker, who had been temporarily assigned from the monitoring station to the Defiance, entered the room. "Captain, we've received a new transmission," Baker reported. "Another distress call from a mining colony near the Cygnus Arm. The Council is asking if we can respond." Eric stood up. "How far?" 8 light years. "With our FTL drives, we could be there in 4 days. Tell Dr. Martinez to prep the engines," Eric ordered. "And inform Admiral Mason we're accepting the mission." Baker smiled. "Already done, sir. The crew is ready." As Eric walked back to the bridge, he passed through corridors where humans worked alongside several Nivari who had volunteered to join the Earthships. One of them, a young engineer, stopped and placed her hand over her heart in a gesture of respect as Eric passed. "Thank you, Captain," she said simply, "for showing the galaxy that being from a death world means being the first to run toward danger, not away from it." Eric returned the gesture and continued to the bridge. Outside the viewports, stars waited, along with countless worlds that might one day need the help that only Deathworlders could provide. In the Galactic Council chamber, a new plaque was being installed beside the main entrance. It bore a simple phrase in multiple languages, with the Earth version prominently displayed: "When danger threatens and help seems far away, look to the Deathworlders. They know how to survive, and they will teach others to do the same." As the UES Defiance prepared to jump to its next mission, Captain Eric Daniels gave the order that would soon become famous throughout the galaxy. "All hands ready for departure." "Someone needs our help,"